Dear children, this is Mentors English Express and I am Sudha Oberoi. I am going to explain the students of class 12th poem number 2, An Elementary School Classroom in a Slum, from their English book Flamingo. This poem is composed by Stephen Spender. Let me tell you something about the poet first. Stephen Spender was born in 1909. He was an English poet and an essayist. He left University College, Oxford, without a degree and went to Berlin in 1930. He took keen interest in politics and declared himself to be a socialist and a pacifist. His work is concentrated on themes of inequalities and social injustice. Here's the explanation of the poem. Far, far from gusty waves, these children's faces, like rootless weeds, the hair torn round their pallor. Gusty waves means strong winds. Rootless means uprooted or having no roots. Weeds means useless wild plants. Pallor means pale faces. Children, the poet describes the children who study in elementary school located in a slum. The poet says that the children studying in this school look dull and listless. They don't have any charm on their faces like other children of their age. They have pale and lifeless faces. Their tangled hair is strewn on their forehead and look so untidy. These children are compared to unwanted weeds. Like the weeds grow in a garden, give a cluttered, unwanted look. Similarly, these children also seem to be unwanted. That is, nobody is bothered about their proper upbringing. The tall girl with her head down, the paper seeming boy with rat's eyes, the stunted, unlucky hair of twisted bones, reciting a father's gnarled disease, his lesson from his desk. Weighed means depressed due to burden. Paper seeming means lean and thin. Rat's eyes means eyes protruding out due to malnutrition. Stunted means undeveloped, not fully grown. Hair means successor. Twisted means bent or distorted. There is a tall girl who is sitting with her head bent down because the burden of misfortunes have depressed her. She is feeling embarrassed sitting alone in the class. There is another lean and thin boy whose appearance has been compared to a paper. The boy's eyes are protruding out due to malnutrition. The poet says that his growth is stunted and his body remains undeveloped. He has twisted bones which he has inherited from his parents. This unlucky boy sits at his desk and is reciting his lesson. At the back of the dim class, one unnoted, sweet and young, his eyes live in a dream of squirrel's game in tree room other than this. Dim means not clear. Unnoted means not marked or not noticed. Tree room means place made in a tree. The poet further says at the end of the class, in the dim corner sits an unnoticed young boy with dreams in his eyes. His eyes are lit up with dreams and he is looking outside the window. It seems as if he wants to break all the barriers and rush out of the class to enjoy the squirrel's game. So, in this stanza, the poet tells us about the pathetic condition of the children of an elementary school. These children live in a perpetual state of poverty. They don't even get good nutritious food. So they suffer from malnutrition and genetic diseases. Most of them do not dare to dream and have succumbed to circumstances. Only very few are there who dare to dream. On sour cream walls, donations, Shakespeare head, cloudless at dawn, civilized dome riding all cities, belled, flowery, tireless valley. Sour means unpleasant or creamish or of off-white color. Donation means things given or received in charity. Dawn means early morning sunrise. Civilized doom. Here it means rising sun at the horizon, which is in the shape of a dome. Tyrolese Valley means it is a beautiful valley in Austria. The poet says that the walls of the classroom are discolored due to lack of maintenance. They have spots and the paint is coming off. On these faded walls, a portrait of Shakespeare received in donation is hung and is useless for the children because they don't get any inspiration from it. The other picture is of high domes of buildings shining in the early morning sun. They have also hung the pictures of Tyrolese Valley full of churches and flowers, which look very attractive and tempting to them but are out of reach for them. Open-handed map awarding the world its world. And yet for these children, these windows, not this map, their world, where all their futures painted with fog. Open-handed map. It means map of the world drawn at will of the authorities. The another map is of the world which separates the slum from the beautiful world of glitz and glamour. The map of this world is made and reshaped by those in power. They make rules according to their whims and fancies. It means they think only of their benefit and are not bothered about these children at all. They do not want to bring any change in the lives of these children. So these children live in the world where the fog of uncertainty dominates and their future is absolutely dark. A narrow street sealed in with a lead sky, far, far from capes and stars of words. Sealed in means closed in. Capes means a large piece of land that sticks out into the sea from the coast. Now these children are doomed to live in narrow streets, far, far away from the light of the knowledge. Normally slums are located away from the flowing rivers, capes and stars because of their unhygienic surroundings and poverty. So their world is quite different from the world shown in the picture. In the stanza, the poet tells us that this inequality persists because of indifferent attitude of the authorities, who frame rules for their own selfish interest and are least bothered about these children living in the slum. They have been given an idea of the world of rich and affluent, but no opportunities or access to it. Surely Shakespeare is wicked, the map a bad example, with ships and sun and love tempting them to steal. Wicked means not good or evil. Tempting means to persuade, to entice, or to attract. Steal. Here it means steal those comforts and run away. The poet is quite aggressive to see the pathetic condition of the classroom because it doesn't serve the purpose of educating the children so that they can progress in their lives. He criticizes the portrait of Shakespeare hung in the classroom as meaningless. The children have nothing to do with the portrait of the great poet and dramatist because they don't want to become so great in their lives. They just want simple education which helps them lead a simple life and helps in eradicating poverty, resulting in enhancement of status. They want such education which gives them a taste of wonderful world shown in pictures hung in the classroom. They feel tempted to have a glimpse of the world of the rich but have no access to it. Education which can become a medium for to get access of that world is also deprived them in true sense. So these schools are for just namesake and serve no purpose at all. For lives that slyly turn in their cramped holes from fog to endless night. On their slag heap, these children wear skins peeped through by bones and spectacles of steel with mended glass like bottles bit on stones. Slyly means secretly or trickily. Cramped means narrow. Slag means waste material. Heap means pile. Mended means repaired. These children live in small and dingy rooms and they wander on the heaps of waste. Their clothes are torn and bones peep out of them. They are skinny because of malnourishment. Their spectacles have been mended so many times that look like pieces of broken bottle on the stones. All this gives us a glimpse of their acute poverty and the indifferent attitude of the authorities towards them. All their time and space are foggy, slum. So blot their maps with slums as big as doom. Foggy means full of fog. Blot means blemish. Doom means ruin or disaster. The poet, who is saddened at heart at their pathetic plight, says that their future is foggy. And there is no hope of change if such attitude of the authorities persists. These slums are living hell and so are thought to be a blot on the world of the rich. In this stanza, the poet describes the state of poverty which has gripped these children. He says that in the lack of opportunities, they will never be able to make any progress and their future is extremely gloomy. Unless governor, inspector, visitor, this map becomes their window and these windows that shut upon their lives like catacombs. Catacombs means tombs, cemetery or underground graves. With a heavy heart, the poet says that there is no coordination between the map of a civilized world and the world of these children living in slums. The optimistic poet hopes that governor, visitors, or inspectors will surely take some concrete steps to bridge the gap. They must make some genuine efforts to bring a change in their lives. They can do so by providing them some opportunities and facilities so that these children can realize their dreams. At present, their lives are stable like a dead body in the grave. The classroom should be a real classroom where education in real sense is provided to them. Break, oh, break open till they break the town, and show the children to green fields and make their world run azure on gold sands. Break, oh, break open means to lift or remove all the restrictions. Azure means deep blue. The poet says that these children must be given freedom to breathe in open air under the vast sky. They must be allowed to run on the sand and to explore the world in their own style. This will ignite curiosity in them to gain knowledge. The poet says, let the pages of wisdom be open to them, and let their tongues run naked into books, the white and green leaves open, history there whose language is the sun. The poet says, let them enjoy freedom of expression. Let their tongues rake means let them enjoy the freedom of expression, then only they will be able to create history. The poet further says that there is no dearth of talent among them. If given opportunities, they will work hard to bring change in their lives, which is going to make their future bright. In the last stanza, the poet becomes determined and optimistic. He strongly puts forth his views that genuine efforts will definitely give these children an opportunity to nurture their talent. So let us make a combined effort to bring a change in their lives. So children, this poem deals with the theme of social inequality faced by children living in the slums. They are deprived of basic amenities which hamper their balanced development. We all can make combined effort to bring a change in their lives. Let us discuss the rhyme scheme. The poem has been written in free verse, so there is no rhyme scheme. Now let us discuss literary devices. The poet has beautifully used devices in the poem. The first device is simile. When comparison is done between two things using the words like, as, or so, there is simile. Let us pick up examples of simile. See paragraph 1. Like rootless weeds. Here children are compared with rootless weeds. See paragraph 3. Like bottle bits on stones. Here the spectacles of children have been mended so many times that they look like bottle bits on stones. See paragraph 4. Their lives like catacombs. Here the lives of children have been compared to a dead body in the grave. Next device is metaphor. When comparison is done between two things without using the words like, as, or so, there is metaphor. Let us pick up examples of metaphor. See paragraph 1. The paper seeming boy. The thin boy is compared to a paper. See paragraph 2. Sour cream walls. The walls have been described to be dull, yellowish, like sour cream. There is another example in para 2. A narrow street sealed in with lead sky. Here the future of children has been described as limited. See paragraph 3. their cramped holes. The homes of children are very small, like holes. See paragraph 4. The white, green leaves. The books and nature are expressed in the form of white and green leaves. Next device is assonance. Assonance is repetition of vowel sound. See paragraph 2. Belled, flowery, tireless, valley. Here vowel sound E is repeated. See paragraph 4. Governor, inspector, visitor. Here vowel sound O is repeated. Next device is alliteration. Alliteration is repetition of consonant sound. See paragraph 2. Cloudless, civilized, cities. Here consonant sound C is repeated. There is another example in this paragraph. Windows, world. Here consonant sound W is repeated. See paragraph 3. From, fog. Here consonant sound F is repeated. Next device is allusion. Allusion is reference to well-known person or place. See paragraph 2. Shakespeare. Shakespeare is a well-known poet and dramatist. Tireless Valley. It is a beautiful and famous valley in Austria. Next device is repetition. See, far word is repeated in para 1 and 2. See paragraph 1. Far, far. See paragraph 2. Far, far. Another example is in paragraph 4. Break, break, open. Here it means to break open the obstacles or to lift the restrictions. Next device is anaphora. Use of repeated words in 2 consecutive lines is anaphora. See paragraph 4. Run, azure, run, naked. Here run word is repeated in 2 consecutive lines. So we have anaphora. If you have enjoyed this video, like, share and subscribe it. You can also write your comments in the comments box below. Thank you.